It's been a very dramatic week in this turbulent world. The continuing war in Israel, Russia gaining ground in Ukraine, and culminating with an attempted assassination on former President of the United States, Donald Trump. A number of shots were fired at Trump, one of which actually hit his ear, literally a quarter-inch away from killing him. The already iconic pictures of Trump raising his fist in the air after the assassination attempt will go down in history. The attempted assassination of Donald Trump is certainly the conversation of today. Daniel 2 verse 21 reads, He changeth the times and the seasons. He removeth kings and setteth up kings. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. God could have allowed Donald Trump to be removed from the scene, but it was not to be. This event could be time and chance, but on the other hand, this event may have just won Trump the election in November, if he survives that long. The media has been so virulent against Trump, it can have an empowering effect on people like this would-be assassin. It was such an iconic event that it is difficult to write it off to time and chance. The fact that Donald Trump did not die and came within a whisker of losing his life in such a dramatic fashion may indicate that the Almighty has a further work with this man. While in office, Trump was a great friend of Israel, moving the embassy to Jerusalem, bringing the USA to officially recognize the Golan Heights as being under the sovereignty of Israel, and negotiating the Abraham Accords. There is even a community in the Golan Heights named after Trump, Trump Heights. As we will discuss on this week's Bible in the News, Israel has all nations against her. The United States has not, despite a surface appearance, been a true friend of Israel over the last year. This is because many in the current administration are devoutly Catholic. When Biden came to power, the National Catholic Reporter ran an article entitled, Joe Biden's Very Catholic Cabinet. The article quotes a church official who said, There never has been a more Catholic administration in U.S. history. Head of the Department of Defense, Lloyd Austin, is a devout Catholic. According to the New Yorker, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan grew up in a large Irish Catholic family in Minneapolis, one of 5 children of a high school guidance counselor and a college journalism professor who once studied to become a Jesuit priest. Both men have played key roles in Israel's war against Hamas. Is it time for an American administration more favorable to Israel? While it may be time for an American administration more favorable to Israel, one point has stood out since last October, and that is that Israel has only one to trust in, and that is the Creator, the Mighty One of Israel. The prophecy of Isaiah 30 is for the latter days, but it is presented on the background of the time of Hezekiah, when Israel was caught between 2 powers, the Assyrians to the north and the Egyptians to the south. In the nation there were those who put their trust in the God of Israel, led by Hezekiah, and there were those who would go down to Egypt for help. Isaiah 30 begins, Woe to the rebellious children, saith the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin, that walk to go down into Egypt, and have not asked at my mouth, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. So it is today. There are those in Israel with a developing faith in God and see God's hand in these events, and there are those who trust in America for help. Ultimately, it will not be America or Great Britain that save Israel. Since October, it has been evident a number of times that the United States is not an ally that can be completely relied upon. The Ynet News site, based in Israel, reported that Israel braces as World Court may rule it must withdraw from West Bank. The article says among the possible outcomes is a ruling that the Israeli presence in the West Bank and East Jerusalem is illegal. The whole area of the West Bank south of Jerusalem is the ancient territory of Judah. Astounding that it would be illegal for Jews to live in Judea and Jerusalem. While this is a ridiculous notion, it is not surprising when we read our Bibles. Joel 3 says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead or judge with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land." Joel 3 clearly states that when the captivity, the Jewish exiles of Judah and Jerusalem are restored, all the nations would be brought to the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh's judgment, where the Almighty will judge them for scattering his people and dividing his land. How astounding, then, that an international court may make such a ruling as this, that it is illegal for Jews to dwell in Judah. This is a shocking example of all nations turning against Israel. God's hand certainly is at work in the earth, and with his people Israel. Joel 3 goes on to say in verses 16 and 17, "The Lord shall also roar out of Zion, and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But the Lord will be the hope of his people, and the strength of the children of Israel. So shall ye know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. Then shall Jerusalem be holy, and there shall no strangers pass through her any more." These events herald that this day is fast approaching, and so it is good to remember the words of the Lord Jesus Christ to this generation in Revelation 16, verse 15. "Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame." Come back to BibleInTheNews.com next week as we continue to watch the signs of the times together. This has been David Billington with you.